You're listening to Biz-Souls, the business podcast with an edge, hosted by me, Rona Lewis, and Jeffrey Hansler. Tune in for perspectives and discoveries about the changing world of business. It's time to connect to the heart, soul, and humor of how business gets done. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Biz-Souls, or I guess episode. Is there another episode? Starts with an E. I'm Rona Lewis.
I'm Jeffrey Hansler, and Rona's just acting out because I'm doing podcast partner abuse because we've done four far,
today.
And now we're doing another one, and I'm going, come on, the equipment's all set up. Let's just get it done.
He's nudging me.
I know.
He's a bully. So I have feedback for you. Don't be a bully. We're talking about feedback today.
Yeah, and it's going to be a short one. Again, one of our short, quick ones. And the reason is because, first of all, there's a lot of change going on. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are having to deliver messages that are not necessarily positive.
Well, yeah, they don't know how to deliver them at all.
And people are tense just in general, and they're carrying that forward.
No, they're not. Just kidding.
Exactly. So a basic formula. This is so if you've got to give somebody feedback. Yeah. Now, it could be a leader to your followers or the people you're working with. Yeah. And it could be maybe a manager to somebody that is reporting to you.
So basically communicating up, down, or across an organization.
So, and I'm going to start this off with a story that I recently read about. I was not personally involved in the story. Supposedly GE was changing. Maybe it was Goldman. It was
great story so far.
Yeah, I know. So far, I think it was Goldman Sachs, and they were having to. It's this back to work. Okay. You have to come back to work, back to the office.
IRL.
And they had a question and answer session, and they were describing that everybody has to come back to the office. And basically, I guess the CEO of Goldman Sachs said, "Hey, you have a choice. You either come back or find another job."
Right.
And so one of somebody within the company raised their hand to ask a question and said, "Well, for my team, could I decide that?" And basically he said no, and the guy pushed it. "Well, I've got, people that have got all this special stuff going on." And he said no. And supposedly the CEO took that as a challenge to his authority. And the guy was called up after the meeting and said, "Pack your things, you're fired."
Wow. Is that legal?
And well, basically he got home and his manager or his manager's manager's manager called him and said, "I apologize. This was not handled well. You are not fired. Come back to work." And so what the thing is this is what's going on. People are trying to...
That was fear.
Yeah. And people are trying to set standards, and they're trying to get control of all this change going on. And so they're overreacting, and they're letting their emotions and amygdala hijack going on.
Yeah. And that's so I don't know if I would call that feedback. I would just call that poor leadership.
Well, that was poor leadership.
Yeah, there was no emotional intelligence.
Well, and here's my point to it. Feedback. And this is the thing that true leaders do. They get feedback on how things are going from the people that report to them. And so this guy got feedback from somebody that was part of his team, and he fired him over it.
I'll take feedback as long as as long as you agree with me. Otherwise, you're out. So yeah.
And it may not
kind of like authoritarianism.
Yeah, it may have not been Goldman Sachs. I mean, I wouldn't if it's
not important.
It's not important. It was the story.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So here's a model for feedback. So first of all, feedback should be timely and specific. And I'm just going to read this through. Yeah. It should focus on the situation, not the person. The way I usually explain that is focus on the issue.
Don't make it personal.
Focus on the issue and again, not the person. And you should collaborate with people on a solution to it. So instead of coming in and this is where we get into hero leadership, they think they have to have all the answers. That means they have to see the problem, they have to point out the problem, and then they have to solve the problem. And that creates problems.
Right.
And then finally, feedback should be on a more regular basis. We should have more conversations.
I absolutely agree with
that. So the idea of an annual 360 review is not working. And as a matter of fact, what is being suggested now by consultants and managers and management consultants around the world is that it should be on a very regular basis, not monthly.
Slow down.
I'm sorry. I get it.
He's getting all excited about this.
I was.
So I have a couple of things that I want to add to this monologue. And first of all, feedback is just feedback. It's an opinion. And smart leaners or leaders or leaners. Here,
leaners. That tired,
take
huh?
It, yeah. Just take it with thank you for your feedback, thank you for your input, and take a second to take it all in. There's the PER method. You pause, understand, reflect, and then you respond. And a lot of leaders don't do that because, just like your story, they get triggered out of fear that what they're saying isn't the truth, or that too many people are going to argue with them. If you realize that feedback is one person's viewpoint, that helps a lot. And you're going to get a lot of them if you're a smart leader and ask it. It's like Ed Catmull's Creativity Inc. story where he asks, he has an all hands on deck meeting once a movie gets originally,
right.
They have their idea so they don't get groupthink. They ask everyone in the company, from the person who cleans the rooms to the CFO, and the feedback that they get, because it's all so different, they take what makes sense to make an even better movie. And it's the same way for anything. And leaders, managers, anybody, it doesn't have to be. Employees should also do that from their colleagues.
Absolutely. And here are the benefits of giving that feedback and following a pattern like that. First of all, it builds trust and transparency,
yes.
which obviously improves engagement, which is what we want people engaged. And it facilitates continuous improvement. Because you get into this, everybody's kind of building blocks and helping each other. Okay, you gave me feedback. You've helped me get better. I can give you feedback. Yeah, I'll help you get better. And then it reduces surprises.
I love surprises.
No, not negative surprises. Okay. I know.
Well,
anyway.
And it feels like we are talking about strictly negative feedback when positive feedback is appreciated as well. So how do you see that being different, negative,
I don't.
positive?
As a matter of fact, since you bring that up, well done, Rona. Since you bring that up,
Hold on.
It's a good chance to practice because you're much more likely to do it right with positive feedback.
Sure.
And the only way you learn patterns and change your emotional patterns to structured discipline patterns that are beneficial instead of amygdala driven is by practicing them. And you just turn it into a habit that way. And so when you give positive feedback, if you practice this as well and you think, why would I need to practice it? It's positive feedback. I'm not going to get a negative response. That's not the idea. The idea is to be ready when you do have to give, criticism, if you will.
Now, there are a few different models of how to give feedback.
Oh,
Do you have a favorite?
Well, this is the favorite. This is the one that I really like in terms of the feedback. First of
So,
all,
yeah, go ahead.
And the idea of you're not going to mention the hamburger model because that has been proved.
No. It's also called the sandwich model.
Tell them something good, then tell them what they're doing terrible,
Yeah.
and then tell them how wonderful they are.
Yeah,
It's really?
I like the more objective way of doing it where you're not apologizing for saying anything, and women tend to apologize more than men for no reason. It's like, I'm sorry, could I just give you, first of all, don't use the word sorry, don't use the word just when you're giving feedback. I see where you're going with this. Perhaps a better way or perhaps a different way so that you get an even better result would be to do this, this, and this. That's it.
Right.
Short, succinct, sweet, objective, no judgment.
Excellent.
And
Good advice.
that's all you need.
One other thing, though. So we're assuming that we're in a healthy environment, and we're assuming that somebody's in charge and then somebody's subordinate to them.
Oh, okay. So in that case, if someone is getting really aggressive, first you bitch slap them, then you just say it very succinctly. That ought to do it.
Okay, well,
because they'll be so surprised they don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be a surprise that they don't like. Well, that'll probably be
debunked in about 8 seconds.
You're kind of on the right track. So
okay, then bitch slap them.
No. There's a lot of angry and violence going on. And one of the reasons that normal people get angry and lose their temper and yell and scream and throw things and throw tantrums or destroy property or things like that is because they don't feel they have any other recourse. And so communication is so powerful, and this is why we should really work on communication in general. There are a lot of little things that you can do. So if somebody is unhealthy and they're tearing you down as they're trying to improve you maybe, or trying to help you, they're just telling you all the things you do wrong. I never do that, do I? So one of the things you can do is you look them at the eye when they're talking, and then you don't look at them in the eyes, you look at them just below the eyes, and you just have a hard focus on that, and it's very unnerving to somebody. The other thing is, instead of squaring off with them, kind of turn at an angle, because it's a little bit like it's going to bounce off you.
See, and I look at that as you don't want to have this conversation. You're ready to take off.
No, as long as they stand their ground, and there are things you can do with your body language. For example, you just relax your shoulders. Normally when somebody's criticizing, your shoulders go up, you get tense, you have all this tension. If you can force yourself just to relax, you're grounding yourself.
Yeah.
And what that does is it takes the wind out of these abusive people's sails.
Well, yes, and along with that, because I actually teach a conflict management class, one of the things that exacerbate conversations is getting the ego in the way and reacting and not active listening. If you listen actively, you're going to wait till the person finishes what they have to say, which is super, super hard, especially if they're attacking you personally. And they will feel heard, and you, per your point, or like the purr, get it? It takes the wind out of their sails when you don't answer right away and take a breath and don't
take that beat.
Right. And don't equal their sense of urgency.
And the other thing, and overall, is just ask questions about it. Dig deep into it. If they're yelling at you, just calmly ask questions. So explain that further. Tell me what's going on with stuff.
I didn't know that you felt like that. Do not apologize. Do not say, I'm sorry you feel that way, because that's not an apology. First of all, there's no need unless you've actually done something wrong. And you're not apologizing. You're just feeling sorry for the way they feel, which means absolutely nothing.
Right. And sometimes if you are calm and they're excited, that makes them more excited.
Yes, that's true.
And so if that happens, you're lying, well, it looks like you're really upset now.
Yeah.
Let's set another meeting.
Perfect.
So you as a subordinate, let's set another meeting where we can discuss this when you're in a more productive way.
Yeah. Because, especially, and I didn't actually know this until I started teaching this class. When you're in that fight or flight mode and you have that amygdala hijack, it takes away your ability to put words together, and it reduces your ability to reason. Why would you want to have a conflicting or an important conversation when you're in that mode? That's why people say, oh, I should have said this. Oh, I should, because that's when you're calming down.
Well, and here's the thing, it may sound, where I'm saying this, not
yes.
Maybe you. I'm saying this as if it's easy. It's not easy. It's not easy for me, especially if somebody's got power and control, and they can negatively affect your life by their decisions.
Feedback's a hard thing.
And so really, the more you're able to practice this, the better off you'll be. And you kind of train yourself for it. So it's kind of like, just for fun. I'm playing poker. I get to a poker table. I'm pretty easy to read. No, I'm really easy to read.
Must be the sweat that comes off.
Yeah. I'm better playing online poker, I guess. It's because they can't see me.
When no one can see you.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So I got to work on that.
Well, maybe, they had a lot of the professional poker players wear the sunglasses so people can. Perhaps you should wear those full face plastic things that are colored, that like a sunglass so no one can see anything.
Yeah, except with sunglasses, even, it's like, oh, pair of aces. I'll raise. Think that's a giveaway?
If you wear it up to here.
That's a giveaway?
He'll be coming in a suit of armor next.
Who is the character who had the sweater that was up to here? It was in.
Oh, look at Joe. Bazooka Joe.
That's what I need, and a hat and glasses in between.
You millennials and younger will not know who Bazooka Joe is. He was in the
Comic strip. He was. Wasn't it?
No, he was in a comic strip that you got with bubblegum.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh my God, I can't remember that. Oh, that's great.
It's because you're older than I am, and
my
his
brain's
memory's
fried.
going, right? Too much bubblegum.
All right, well.
Anyway, so that's our
Put a fork
feedback.
in it.
Yeah, that's our feedback on feedback. I'm Rona Lewis.
I'm Jeffrey Hansler.
And this has been Biz-Souls. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Biz-Souls podcast with your hosts, Rona Lewis and Jeffrey Hansler. Did you have fun? Subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. Talk to you next week.